Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, folks. Hope you're all good. Oh, let me get this picture off the screen. This is not the picture we want to open with. No, we don't want to open with this picture. We want something nicer. Let's see, what else have I got? Let's look at Harry. Harry smiling. Yes, this is what we want to look at. Oh, hope you're good, everyone. Hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button if you haven't already. And thank you once again for getting us to 17,000 plus of you in this community. You are all amazing. And we've got some nice updates. You've probably already seen some of them. If you're on Baron's live yesterday, I wasn't on. But just to recap, anyone that hasn't already gotten the good news and a couple of other details as well. Give me a sec because I have to fiddle with something in the background. Good news is that lately I've noticed my videos have not been demonetized. Like I had this week where over and over and over again videos will get demonetized. Don't know why that was, but problem seems to be fixed for now. Right, let's see who's in the chat. Hey Lightside, hey Lorna, hey golfing mum, Starries, hello. Hey Patricia Nixon, hey Valerie. Oh hey, been a while since you caught live. Well, happy to have you here. Welcome back. Good morning to you, Stephanie. Hey Rhonda Anderson. Hey Kenneth Ash. Hey Trinette. Okay, let's get things rolling. See, what do I have? Harry and Meghan were nominated for a Hollywood Critics Association Award. So this is actually the first time I'm hearing of the Hollywood Critics Association Award, but apparently it's a big deal. So congratulations to our faves for a nomination. No word as to whether or not they will show up. I haven't actually looked at pictures of the Hollywood Critics Association Awards, so I don't know how if it's like a whole red carpet thing. But nonetheless, an amazing honor to be nominated for, and of course, I hope they do win. Now, the Emmy nominations also came out today. They have not been nominated for an Emmy, but I don't actually think that's a loss. I think that this is Harry and Meghan's story. But I think that I would like to see them win an award for something related to their actual humanitarian work. I think this was just their story to tell. And yeah, I don't I yeah, there's a lot of competition for the Emmys, and the series was great, but I think it would just be a lot nicer if they won for something related to their humanitarian work. And I do think they will absolutely win many awards for their shows that are related to their charity work, but also a lot of the other shows that they're producing. I think it would actually be nice for them to win something for a show that they produced, like a Live to Lead or a Pearl whenever it gets um, put out there. Also, it was Bahamas' 50th independence, and a beautiful picture here from Alana Havelcott, who is a free diver from the Bahamas. Lovely picture. And I actually did not know that Prince Charles was there the day that Bahamas got its independence 50 years ago. He actually released a statement. I'm not going to read it now, can't be bothered. But he was there the last day that it was a British colony. He hosted a formal reception at the Government House for dignitaries from 52 countries, overseeing the end of over 300 years of British sovereignty. Well, 300 years of British sovereignty, but they still remained with the British monarch as the head of the Bahamas. And obviously at that point, Charles was just Prince Charles, and now he is King Charles, King of the Bahamas. So it's just that last thing that I think needs to happen, where the monarch is removed from the Bahamas, and there has been more talk of republicanism in the country. So it goes on to say he laid the cornerstone of the central bank on July 9th in 1973. On the evening of July 9th, a musical and cultural display entitled Pages from Bahamian History was held at Clifford Park. It portrayed Bahamian heritage through dance and music. The show was coordinated and directed by Winston Saunders, and Clement Bethel was its artistic and musical director. The police force held a display and flag raising ceremony at the park. Members of the force marched and did routines with music. At 1 minute to midnight on July 9th, 1973, the Union Jack was lowered for the last time as the official flag of the Bahamas. 1 minute after midnight on July 10th, a crowd of 50,000 saw the black, turquoise, and golden flag of the Bahamas raised instead of the Union Jack. The ceremony was replicated on all of the inhabited Bahamian Islands, as the Queen's representative, Prince Charles, at the time, read a personal message from Her Majesty. A little bit of history there for you. Right, let's go to your comments. Yeah, Libby, you said I agree. The Emmy should be for something they do through Archwell, not for their private story. I think so too. La la la. The Netflix Harry and Meghan docuseries is up against some really great non-fiction documentaries. I'm not surprised it didn't make it. I think 1619 Project is going to win an Emmy for this category. Fair enough. Lorna, you also said the Emmy category that they were in was really strong, but I think they will be awarded for future projects. Yeah, I think they will be as well. Looks like they've got some great things in the pipeline. Wait, give me a sec, folks. My computer is really playing up today. What's going on? All right. Jamaican independence anniversary coming up in August. Yay. Star Rose, the Hollywood Critic one is very prestigious. It's fantastic to even be nominated at first attempt. Well, that's good to know. Lorna, you said, I saw the ceremony with Prince Charles. It was on the news. I mean, it must have been a pretty historic day. Okay, on to the next thing. Let's see. Oh, yes. I saw this coming up on the Twitter feeds. Y'all, the derangers are acting deranged, even at work. So, this is Kimmers, who's a squaddy on Twitter, and she said, I have an anti-Meghan colleague at work, and at times it's difficult to avoid conflict with her. We locked horns this AM, and I had to agree to disagree. Got to keep it civil because it's my job. I don't want to be written up. Do any of you have this problem? How do you best deal with it? And I wanted to put this out there because I was curious. Does anybody have any very, opinionated anti-Meghan folks in their workplace? And indeed, how do you deal with it? Because we don't want anyone losing their jobs because a deranger was crying deranger tears. And honestly, I just don't think it's even worth getting into an argument over these things at work. But has anybody experienced these things coming up? For me, personally, having been on these royal streets now for about 2-3 years, I know what's coming with this on royal mafia. I think we all know what's about to come with this on royal mafia. So I don't even feel the need to get into debates with people about Meghan anymore, or about should we abolish the monarchy or any of that kind of stuff anymore. I feel like these people are driving themselves into a train crash. So I don't know. Me, I just don't put that energy, my energy in that place with people, because I just think if you at this point are still buying into this false narrative, that is on you. And I feel like the royals are doing enough to sabotage themselves, that I don't need to argue with anyone over them, because you can see what's coming from a mile off if your eyes are really open. Beatrice, you said ignore them and let them wallow in their hate. Yeah, I mean, do not join them in getting just all heated and bitter. Bernie, I did, but I left that job right now. Oh dear. Marcia, my good neighbor was an anti-Meghan until I gave her a copy of Spare. Okay, well that's one way to go about it if they're willing to see the other side. Marjorie, for me, I just give them the facts. Angelina, you said I wouldn't even discuss anything outside of work because if she's anything like the trolls on social, she's not a well woman. Yeah, I mean, at your job, being a deranger at your job. Yeah, they're driving themselves to destruction. Oi. Okay, on to the next thing. Yeah, I was just curious to know if any of you have dealt with any of that nonsense. This also came up on Twitter. Now, someone claims that they live a stone's throw away from Kensington Palace, and William's helicopter has been ferrying him home, and it happens on a daily basis, or at least regularly. This is just a picture of a helicopter. You don't know whose helicopter this could be. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's definitely William's helicopter. Mind you, they actually moved away from Kensington Palace. And while it is rumored that allegedly for the lawyers listening, that William and Kate are, have kind of gone separate ways in terms of living arrangements. Um, there's no there's nothing that I could point to say that, oh, William is living in Kensington Palace, and so therefore he would need, a helicopter to go somewhere. Having said that, the helicopter use has been an issue in the past, and people bringing up the fact that there seemed to have been an increase in helicopter use based on the recent reports from the royal spending. So whether or not this is William's helicopter, the constant helicopter rides are an issue. And we need to know why, if there are other options and modes of transport for the royals to take, why they are using the helicopter like an Uber service. Okay. Yeah, Jen Hickey, Willie is an eco hypocrite. Do you know, to be honest, I don't have an issue with high profile people who do a lot of events or for security reasons. And I've said this like before, because this is something that people even put on Harry too. I don't have an issue with high profile people if they need it for security reasons, or if they have very important things to do, using more convenient means of transport, or means of transport that would be safer for them to use and that wouldn't put the public at risk. So, for example, I wouldn't really want the president of the of the United States on my flight. That is a security risk to me. It's just the fact that obviously, William has this whole earthworm thing, and it just seems like he's abusing the use of this helicopter. Like he seems like he's not even using it for important royal events, which of course are just PR photographs anyway. But if we're gonna, if we're gonna say, okay, it would be okay if he was using them for work events, it seems like he's not even using them for work events. That is my issue. While having a whole earthworm project. Kat Harlem, you said, I have a couple of co-workers who keep track of the monarchy. One is pro Meghan, the other is negative. Outside that one conversation, we don't discuss the royals at all. Okay. Oh dear. Teresa, you said, I've had one bad discussion with a family member, but she's so ill-informed that, but we agree to disagree. Yeah, I think that the Meghan trolls and haters are in for a surprise. Although I still don't know who doesn't get it at this point. Someone who went their whole life, nobody ever said a bad word about them, and then all of a sudden they marry into this unroyal mafia, and all of a sudden they're the big bad wolf. Like, what are you not seeing? Like, it's like the helicopter is the only flex William has. What else does he have going for him? I mean, do you remember, like, yeah, the article on the screen, right? Having him fly that helicopter to prove what? I mean, Harry is a what do they call it? An Apache helicopter pilot. Once again, trying to compete with little brother. Thank you, Black Queen, for reminding everyone. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and put those notifications on, please. Okay, next thing. Enough about Willy Willy. This whole drama with the BBC and the Sun newspaper and the alleged incident that took place with this presenter and a young person allegedly. This has all fallen apart and is all over the place. There are so many conflicting sides and conflicting stories, and this happened and this didn't happen, and she said and he said, and the young person said this, but the young person's stepmother said this, and there's another person who said this. It's all over the place. But nonetheless, the presenter has now been named as Hugh Edwards. It was the wife who has come forward and said that her husband is suffering from mental health issues. and is now receiving in-person hospital care. So I'm going to read this article from the BBC, just so we can write. So who Edwards is now in hospital with serious mental health issues, his wife said, as he is named as a BBC presenter at the centre of the allegations. His wife, Vicky Flynn, said she was issuing a statement on his behalf after days of speculation, primarily out of concern for his mental well-being to protect our children. The Sun claims that he had paid a young person for explicit images. The Met Police says Edward, 61, will not face any police action. The police statement said the Sun newspaper intends to respond to the allegations personally when he is well enough. The statement, can I just also say, because this is something else that people have brought up, and I'm not trying to claim there's any conspiracy or anything like that. I'm just making a point that there is also a situation going on right now with Boris Johnson and text messages that are potentially incriminating to him. So while this is getting front page news, there is that situation with Boris Johnson that is not getting front page news. Just wanted to point that out. It goes on to say who is suffering from serious mental health issues. These are well documented, and he's been treated with depression, severe depression in recent years. The events of the last few days have greatly worsened the matters. He has suffered other serious episodes and is now receiving inpatient hospital care. Goes on to say, in the statement issued through PA News, she said she hoped to confirm Edward's identity would bring an end to the speculation about BBC presenters unconnected to the allegations. She said Mr. Edwards was first told that there were allegations being made against him last Thursday. It appealed for privacy on behalf of their family, publicly documented that Edwards suffered from mental health issues. It said detectives from the Met Specialist Crime Command have now concluded their assessment and have determined there is no information to indicate that a criminal offence has been committed. In reaching this decision, they have spoken to a number of parties, including the BBC and the alleged complainant and the alleged complainant's family, both via another police force. It said detectives were aware of media reporting on other allegations. The initial allegations first reported on Friday were that the presenter paid a young person for photos beginning when they were 17. So, to be honest, I don't really know what to make of this. Did the Sun get it wrong and publish a false story? Is Edwards and his wife trying to cover for him? Because at best, he broke his marriage vows and was having an inappropriate back and forth with this young person. At worst, there is, something going on in terms of he was paying this young person, and allegedly, when the story first came out, was paying them, and it was drugs money. Either way, it's not really looking too good for this individual. Either way, it looks like something very inappropriate may have happened. And it seems on their side, they are claiming that whatever the Sun was reporting, it was wrong. I don't know what to make of this. You tell me. I am rather confused. But let me also just say this. I do not blame people. And of course, we should never accuse anyone who hasn't done anything of anything wrong until we have a little bit more evidence. However, I will also say that I don't blame anyone for jumping to conclusions, especially in regards to the BBC, because let's be honest, they have covered for people in the past. The Jimmy Savile situation being probably one of the most prominent cases, but there are other cases as well. Now, because of all of this, obviously, you had BBC presenters who were coming out and they were saying, it wasn't me. Like Shaggy, it wasn't me. One of those people being Jeremy Vine. Jeremy Vine saying, I'm starting to think that the BBC presenter involved in the scandal should now come forward publicly. These new allegations will result in yet more vitriol being thrown at perfectly innocent colleagues of his, and the BBC, which I'm sure he loves, is on its knees with this. But it is his decision and his decision alone. Jeremy Vine cannot handle 2 minutes of what Meghan put up with for 6 years. I mean, this guy was just ready to throw anybody under the bus to save his own backside. And of course, nobody wants to be accused of anything that they didn't do. But I just find it interesting that Jeremy Vine, over and over again, will come out and say that this is so unfair, this happened to me. I mean, it wasn't someone charged for stalking him, and he did this whole swan song interview, and yet he cannot have compassion for the very people who he throws under the bus day after day after day. One of those people being Meghan. Let me just play this, and then we'll discuss afterwards.
I think it would be a mistake. We live in a society where and you've been through it this week, where these names are flung into the public space, and actually people's lives are ruined, or at least really put into trouble.
It's bone shaking. I went to Springsteen. So I turn up to see Springsteen wearing a baseball cap because my wife thinks, what, the crowd will turn on me or something? I mean, and that's Nicky Campbell, and it's Rylan, and it's other. Lineker got mentioned, and we Nolan, Norton. You throw all these names without any evidence at all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's terrible.
It was appalling, and I think that I just found bizarre that when you look at the kind of the accounts of these people, the conclusion they seem to have come to was, it's the BBC presenter that I find annoying. Well, that's convenient, isn't it? It just happily would be an outcome.
I had someone tweet, it must be you, you're a cyclist. I mean, literally, someone tweeted that.
Oh, it was all there. I mean, everything,
of it.
even your daughter's picture. I mean, I was
Oh my God.
appalled by that.
I mean, yeah. Like, it's perfectly okay for them to do it to other people, but when it's them on the line now, all of a sudden there's a problem. I am so sorry, folks. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I accidentally kicked myself out. I do apologize. Can you hear me now? All right, you can hear me now. So sorry about that. I just got kicked out. Sorry about that. Okay. So what else did I want to discuss? Okay, very, very last thing. Two things. Lee Thompson is still alive. There he is. We wondered where he was. The Jason Knopf replacement. There he is, enjoying the polo. Obviously there's still budgeting going on at Kensington Palace because they couldn't get this guy a properly fitted suit. But yes, Lee Thompson is still there, living his best royal snake life. Also, Omi tweeted this. For the most part, royal protocol is tabloid invention created for cheap clickbait and weaponized against anyone they don't like. The only one came from this nonsense are dying news brands and washed-up commentators in desperate need of traffic or follows. I don't know what made Omid wake up and choose violence, but I absolutely love it. Now, he is right in that protocol is weaponized against anyone they don't like, anyone the institution doesn't like, the royal institution, anyone the press doesn't like, in order to find an excuse to attack someone. And breaking royal protocol can be for the most petty of things. Wearing black nail polish, wearing a one-shoulder gown, crossing your legs. But of course, it depends on who is breaking protocol. If it's a biracial duchess breaking the protocol, double standards all over the place with this so-called protocol. As Katrina tweeted, I'm old enough to remember that just weeks after marrying Prince Harry, one of the first reasons Meghan Markle was attacked is for crossing her legs. Back then, it was a horrible breach of protocol. The self-proclaimed royalist presented it almost as destroying the monarchy. I mean, if leg crossing and black nail polish is enough to destroy your institution, well, then it's clearly not a very strong institution. But as Omid said, it is nothing more than just a tool to weaponize against people. And the fact that these people don't even realize how ridiculous they look for all of this protocol nonsense. Nobody else cares about this nonsense. And it's a way of putting yourself on a pedestal. And that's as if you are the benchmark for what everybody else should be following. If you don't sit like this, if you don't hold your fork and your knife like this, if you don't walk like this, if you don't dress like this, if you don't have this color nail polish, you are breaking protocol. You are not one of us. You are not in the club, and we are not okay with you. And they switch up the protocol when it's convenient for them. And they've also weaponized it against world leaders. There was a whole protocol meltdown over Joe Biden.
Later, the president met the king in Windsor, where he joined talks on climate change, but apparently shouldn't have walked in front of King Charles because that's against royal protocol. The guy on the left in the big bearskin got away with it, though. The visit has been met with mixed reviews, and let's just have a look here at a little bit of the history, okay, and who the American president is, and especially why do people think Biden is anti-British? Let's consider it. You've got to focus on his mum. First of all, okay, his mum is Catherine Finnegan, known as Jean. Irish roots, right? Brilliant story told to an English writer by Biden. Biden changed the subject to how much his mother hated the English. She's talking to him. His parents were Irish. She'd written several poems.
Yeah, I'm not even going to play the whole video, but my country is not a real place. The UK is not a real place. What is this, and why is this on daytime TV? The American president came to the UK to discuss serious matters. And you're talking about protocol and who was standing in front of who and who should have gone where and this, that, and the third that is not even relevant. And then to bring Joe Biden's mother into this and start talking about how he's anti-British. My country is not a real place. And this is embarrassing. And putting this out to the world is just making the country look awful. But the UK press and these morning TV shows are forever going to be taking L's.
Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you.
L after L after L after L. And with that, I am done. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming as always. And yeah, I'm crossing my fingers that we get some art troll news soon, please. Can we get an art troll Instagram? Can we get an art troll anything? Can Meghan just pop her little finger out of the window? Just give us anything. Give us anything, please. Meghan, just put your hand out the window. Be the proud, brazen hussy they accuse you of being, and we will all be behind you. An army of brazen hussies. Look out the window. Put your hand out the window. Give us anything, please, Meghan. All right, I'm done. I'm really done. We'll end with your comments as always. Right, let's get a nice picture on the screen while I read your comments. Diana, that's a nice picture. Let's see. Rosanna, we we thought you'd been kidnapped. No, I'm fine. Listen, they can't catch me. I'm like, I'm in a different country every 2 months. Do you know, I didn't even realize that Joe Biden's actually in Turkey. I didn't realize, like, here for the NATO, is it the NATO summit or something? I mean, I wouldn't have known. I've been around town. I haven't seen any motorcades or anything that would suggest the American president is in town. Let's see. Himi fan, I love spicy omid. I love spicy omid also. Oh, apparently all the NATO leaders are here. I wouldn't have noticed. Yeah, shots fired by Omid. Pew pew. I need, I need to get some shots fired sound effects. Oh my god. You'll crack me up. Yeah, I love Omid's comebacks as well. Hilarious. Star, you said, I see Richard Palmer now pretending that he always thought protocol was now a thing. Of course, the squad was dragging him on Twitter. I didn't see the drag, but thank you for letting me know it happened. Lightside, you said, forget that protocols. The royal family protocols is nothing. I also love that Biden did that. Only a few people think the royals actually are a big deal. Yeah. I mean, there should be mutual respect. Not one person has to walk in front of the other. What are you talking about? The American president. Oh my gosh, has wait, so oh yes, I mean Joe Biden is quite elderly. Do you know, I didn't even think of that his mom is deceased. Okay, so that is even more disgusting. Ugh. Yeah, that is so weird. Like, why would you bring a deceased woman into this? Like, I want to know who approved such a ridiculous segment on a UK morning talk show. Just incredibly weird. More so that the woman is deceased. Jessica, you said you binge watch Harry and Meghan again. I stand them more as each day passes. Yes. Lewis, President Biden just fit the king into his busy schedule. Charles is not a world leader, just a figurehead and attraction for the visitors. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's really the British Prime Minister that Joe Biden should be meeting with. Like, because I guess it's part of state protocol or whatever for him to meet with a monarch, but or for the monarch to receive him. But I mean, the most important conversations should be happening with our prime minister. Thank you, golfing mom. You have a great day too. Yeah, we've got the Santa Bale Polo Cup coming. We've got the Invictus Games. But anything before that would be great. If Meghan just wants to stick her finger out the window, that would be great. Give us anything, please. Does Guy have a memoir? I'd love to read Guy's memoir. Do you remember when Guy was riding with the Queen in the car? A memoir from Guy would be great. All right, we'll leave it there, folks. Thank you so much. Yes, obrigado. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.